Hey, Nate from eSkate Hub here, and today I've got for you the Miles Dual Electric Skateboard review. Straight up, this is probably one of the most fun electric skateboards I've ever ridden. Now, it is the first short electric skateboard that I've ridden before, and it did take me quite a little bit of time to get used to it, especially after riding electric longboards for so long. But after riding it a little bit and getting used to the kicktail, I found myself really enjoying it. Considering how small it is and the stiffness of the deck, I don't usually take it out for longer trips, but it's my go-to board when I need to go to the supermarket or meeting a friend for coffee down the road, or if I'm riding to the train station to head into the city for the day. On the Miles Power website, they say that the Miles Dual and the Single both have a top speed of 22 miles per hour, which is 35.4 kilometers. And on my first ride, I managed to hit a top speed of 24 miles per hour, which is 39 kilometers an hour. For the range, Miles say that with a standard battery, you will be able to get 7 to 12 miles on the Single and 10 to 18 miles on the Dual. And if you opt to have the airline-friendly battery, you should get 6 to 14 miles. I ordered the Miles Dual with the airline-safe battery, so this is what I've tested the range on. I weigh 83 kilograms, the track was fairly smooth, and there were a few up and down steep hills. I rode the Miles Dual at a steady pace of about 20 miles per hour because that's probably what most riders are going to be cruising at. And I managed to get 9.5 miles, which is 15.1 kilometers. So I'm fairly impressed by the range capabilities on the airline-safe battery. Now I only wish I had the standard battery to test its capabilities. One thing to note though is when the battery goes flat, completely dead, everything switches off, including the brakes. So make sure you're not riding down any steep hills as the battery goes flat, otherwise you're going to be complete out of luck. I tested the brakes on both the low mode and the high mode by riding it at about 18 miles per hour and applying the brakes at 100% at this line. And you can see it took me about this long to stop on the high mode. And it took me about this long to stop on the low mode. Now the Miles Dual does struggle a little bit up hills. I rode up a 100-meter long hill, which had a hill grade of about 30%, and the board completely died about halfway up the hill. I then rode it up a hill which was about 50 meters long with a hill grade of about 20%, and it did make it up, but there was a decrease in the speed and I could really feel the board trying its best to pull me up the hill. As I said, the deck is really small, but in a good way. It's nice and compact and lightweight and is easy to carry around. When I'm riding, my back foot is right on top of the kicktail and my front foot is way out the front, and my stance can't get any wider, but to me, I think I'm an average height and the stance is perfect. The entire deck is made out of carbon fiber and all of the electronics are housed inside the casing, so it looks super stealthy. People wouldn't even think you're riding an electric skateboard until they realize that you're cruising along without kick pushing. The grip tape is more like a grip plate. You can unscrew it, take the whole thing off and replace it with a new grip tape. This is cool because Miles actually offer a ton of different graphics which you can swap and change whenever you feel like it. And this is actually the same way that you change the battery, by taking the grip plate off, changing in the new battery and putting the grip plate back on. Miles originally released the board with pink wheels only, which never really bothered me, but obviously it bothered some people because you can now get them in black as well. They are 80mm wheels with a geometer of 80A, making them super squishy and grippy, keeping you stuck to the ground. The PU tires around the motors are actually replaceable, so you can easily take them off and put on new wheels, making maintenance super easy and really cheap. The interesting thing about the trucks is that the kingpins are facing outwards, which is normal on a longboard, but on a traditional skateboard of this size, they generally face inwards. However, I haven't really noticed it to be too much of an issue. You still get great maneuverability out of them, and the kicktail definitely helps. The Miles Dual has 2 hub motors at the rear, while the single, as the name suggests, has only 1 hub motor. Now, Miles don't disclose their power ratings on their website for their motors because they believe that the eSkate industry is notorious for manufacturers lying about the power of their motors. This is kind of disappointing and annoying as consumers because we can no longer trust the manufacturers to tell us the truth about the power and the specs of their components. It would have been nice to see Miles recognize this and go against the grain of the other eSkate companies and be more transparent and open about the specs of their products. Because I plan to take this board overseas, I opted to get the airline safe battery, which is 99 watt hours and you can freely travel with it. The standard battery, however, is 144 watt hours, which means you can travel on the airlines with it, but you need to get permission from your airline first. And as I mentioned before, the battery is swappable with a 2.5mm hex key. You just have to unscrew the bolts on top of the grip plate, put the new battery in, and away you go. Miles Power have 2 different remotes, one for the Miles Dual and one for the Miles Single. The one on the Miles Dual is quite cool because it's got an LED display that shows the remote battery, the board battery, and odometer for the total amount of miles on the board. And then under that, you've got your current trip length. Then you've also got your current speed and the max speed you hit in the last few minutes. Along the bottom of the display, it also shows the direction you are going. FW for forward and BW for backward. It'll also show you which of the 2 speed modes you're in. HI for your high mode and LO for your low mode. Turning it on is super easy. All you have to do is hold the power button on the remote and move the Miles board back and forwards a little bit until it beeps and turns on. There's also a little light at the end of the remote, which isn't really bright enough for you to be able to see in the dark, but maybe it'll help you be seen when you're riding around in the dark. The Miles Dual comes with a standard set of accessories such as the board charger, a USB cable to charge the remote, a T-tool, and a user manual. But the T-tool is pretty shit. The hex key that it comes with doesn't do any of the bolts on the motors or on the grip tape. You're going to have to go get another size hex key. However, the T-tool does have the bolts to change the wheels over. So overall, I think this is an epic little mini electric skateboard. It's now my go-to board for short trips like ducking to the supermarket, meeting friends for coffee, or riding to the station if I'm heading into the city for the day. It's just super easy when you're not riding it. You can pick it up and take it into the store with you. You can stow it away under your seat on the train or at your feet in the car. It's easy. The kicktail is nice and small, which is perfect for tic-tacking around corners, doing manuals, launching off curbs, but you're not going to be able to do any real tricks with it. It kind of feels like I'm riding an old school traditional skateboard, but it's electric, which is super cool. You can pick up the Miles Dual for $769 or the Miles Single for $599. Also, Miles Power are releasing a brand new electric longboard called the Miles Rampage, which you can pre-order now for a discounted price. So that's everything I have on the Miles Dual electric skateboard. If you have any questions, please ask below in the comments. I will answer every single question that is asked. If you like this video, I would be forever grateful if you gave it a like, and if you want to see more electric skateboard reviews in the future, hit that subscribe button. Ride safe out there, guys, and I'll see you soon.